Hello and welcome to the Marine Channel. We're here at the Palma International Boat Show 2026 and I'm going to jump on board this, which is a Boston Whaler 405 Conquest. Now, most of you will be familiar, I'm sure, with the name Boston Whaler, but certainly in the UK, the Boston Whalers we tend to see are sort of open boats, much smaller than this. This is a 40-foot boat. It's the largest enclosed boat that Boston Whaler do, and I think it's a really intriguing boat. We're going to start here obviously at the aft. You can see there's a pretty impressive lineup of power. We've got quadruple Mercury 300s. This boat has a top speed as a consequence of around 50 knots, cruising at 35. There's other options as well. This is the baby engine option, if you like. So you can actually have four 425s, and you can also have three V12 600 horsepower. Doesn't actually make the boat that much quicker, but adds about 5 knots or so to the top end. But yeah, it's a very handsome looking aft, if you like. Now you see around the place as we move around, loads and loads of rod holders. This boat's got, I would say, a dual character. It is basically a fishing boat, but you'll be impressed, I think, with the accommodation that it has. So see down here as well, there's more rod holders, but we'll kind of delve into that as we go. Let's step into the cockpit here. So a nice big transom gate there, and this one's set up at the moment with its kind of social cockpit area, I'd describe it as. So we've got a big runner seating along there. You've got these two tables here. They are obviously on legs, poles. They can be removed, and then underneath here, this whole area here, you've got your generator down there. I think there's also an option now, you can have gyro stabilizers, but basically it's a massive storage space, because obviously you haven't got engines hidden away under there. Under here as well, we've got a big lazarette, and that runs sort of under the sole of the cockpit as well. That's on both sides. And then we've got this nice side gate here. Now everything on Boston Whalers, I have to say, is kind of super duper, kind of almost kind of commercial quality, or super yacht quality, in terms of like the thickness of all the mouldings. You can see down there as well, that's where you can put your bathing ladder clips in there. But it just feels an immensely well built boat at every turn. So a little bit more in terms of your fishing. This is a live bait well in here, so you can keep your bait in good shape if you're out for the day. And then over here on the aft side, now whether or not I can do this with one hand, I don't know. Yes, there we go. Yes. Oh, there we go. Oh, sorry about that. There you go. So you've got some additional seating there. So if you're travelling out to your fishing grounds, you've got a very nice place to sit down. However, when you're actually out fishing, you probably don't want all this clutter. You want it all dedicated to fighting the big game fish. So let me show you what we can do. So this one will fold up out the way. And that one goes back underneath that. Oh, making hard work of this. Hang on a minute. Not that smooth, was it? There we go. Need to lift that up. And that goes down under there. And then you'll notice on this big one here at the back, there's actually a hinge on there as well. So this one will drop down, and then this one will lift up. Now you can imagine when we've got the tables out of here, this is a big area for fighting your fish. And if we look over here, this backrest, says he, will flip backwards like that. There you go. And there's even a little step there which you can raise up, put your feet on, and you can fish that way. Same kind of setup over there on the starboard side. So a proper area to do your fishing. But I said this boat has kind of a dual personality, and I think this is one of the cleverest things I've ever seen. So configured at the moment like a seat. Got our drawers here, but there's more to the drawers than meets the eye. Pull that out. Oh, I'm making everything look really difficult today. Sorry about that. There we go. Hang on. Cut. Okay, after a little tussle, I've got that sorted out. So this is your grill. We think, well, that's kind of a bit odd because that's right by a seat. But come round here, and what you've got is a catch. Sorry, I'm going to have to... There you go. That drops down there. This drops up there. Oh, hang on. I will get it. There we go. And that then becomes your cooking area. How clever is that? Yeah, so your food preparation area, your little grill down here as well, so you've got your outdoor kitchen. But as we said, when that's not in use, and I'll try and make this look much simpler when it goes back. There you go. Lift, drop, push it back in. There you go, we're back to where we were. Very clever, huh? Right, let's carry on up here. So, let's see if I can pull this one back. Oh, there we go. Pull that one back. Reason being that when we step up here now, we've got this nice dinette area. Yeah. Now the other thing that's neat, I'm not going to do it, I'm obviously struggling with some things today, but this table is on a ram, so that will drop down electronically. This seat here will slide forward, the backrest will drop down, you still with me? And then this will hinge down, so this effectively goes down here and becomes the base, this becomes your backrest, and then you have a massive sort of lounger that runs all the way along here. And obviously gives you another berth as well, or double berth. Cool, huh? Neat little detail here, up in the roof. Never seen this before. You've got this sort of zip effect, and inside there are all your covers. So if you want to enclose the area we're in now, you can attach those covers into the runners here and down the side, and effectively from those steps forward becomes an enclosed area, which in your cooler climes or even your hot climes, when it's super hot and you want to crank the aircon up, that's not a bad place to be. While we're here as well, I'll just point out we've got this lovely great big electric sunshade that extends all the way out, literally level with those rear seats if you're sat there. That's all electric, of course, on a boat like this. And then we've got our kind of kitchen area or food prep area here. So as we saw, the grill is down there, but we've got a sink here, and then we've got waste bin there. Move the boots, and then we've got a lovely big chiller and another one there. So lots of space for your cool drinks, which is pretty essential when you're in Palma. And then over to our Helm seat. So a couple of big multi-function display Simrad screens. You can configure them as you wish, all your systems and bits and pieces, throttle control, joystick control, all your hard switch gear. Now this boat's a 2003, this is actually a used boat, 3 years old. It's for sale at the moment. Knew this boat would be around the 2 million mark. This one for sale at the moment I think is at 1.3 million euros. So a good saving on new. If you fancy one, I love this Boston Whaler steering wheel. You kind of get these wheels on all the boats regardless of size. And what I like is that it is what it is. There's no additional switches, there's no leather binding, nothing like that. It's just a beautifully made steering wheel. How cool is that? A couple of cup holders there. When you look across here on the navigator side, they've kind of mirrored this design. It's almost like this is right-hand drive, it could be left-hand drive. It's not, the helm's always on the starboard side, but you can have additional screens put in here if you wish. And what else is kind of cool is down here, this one's got an additional helm station. So obviously all on joystick, and then if you're docking to the port side, you've got great visibility there. But I think that's rather neat. Oh, Right, I'm not even going to try shutting that down because I'm having one of those days where everything is a bit catchy. A little bit more storage there. And then we've got access out through the port side to the foredeck. We'll do that in a minute. One thing just worth mentioning when we're talking about technology, there's a new auto docking option. It's made by Simrad. It's called Active Captain. And what they do is they fit cameras all around the boat so it actually knows its identity. We've had kind of skyhook for a long time where you can press a button and the boat will remain where it is. But this new Simrad system, which is available on this boat, means that you can actually kind of turn all the cameras on, boat knows where it is, you tell it where it wants to go, and then it's lights, action, music, and it'll do it all for you. I think the title Active Captain is actually wrong because what it means is the captain's inactive, they haven't got to do a thing. But how nice is that? Take the stress off. So up here on the foredeck, we've got a sun lounger area. As I say, this sort of split personality. You can imagine people fishing out aft, and then you're out the front here with your speakers and your drinks and sun pad and whatnot. Anchor handling gear, chain locker there. Everything about Boston Whaler is designed to be very, very functional, very, very logical, very easy to use, easy to move around, practical, but incredibly well built and with clever technology. So we'll make our way in through that side door. You haven't got a side door on the helm side, but you have got a big window. I mean, I guess if you were younger and nimbler than I, you could pop out there as well. But access certainly nice and straightforward. This is a nice touch as well. This reminded me of an old Land Rover Defender in a positive way. You've got these sort of air vents here that are on rams, electric rams. So you can open that up and get the flow of the air through, which I think is lovely. Right, let's go down below, because as I said, it's not just a fishing boat, it's a boat you could weekend on. You could do extended periods of time. So we've got this Ford Master, good size, good headroom here, well over 6 foot. Little step up to get yourself in. A little bit of storage around, and then there's a catch here on the left hand side which gives you all that storage under the bed. So for the stuff that you're not accessing all the time, that is absolutely brilliant. A couple of little hanging lockers at the side. So there's one heads on this boat, so it can be used as an ensuite, obviously at night, but I'll show you in through the other way, which is probably where most people will access it, and that's here. So really nicely appointed, decent sized shower, little sink, shower head unit. You can close it off as well, so it doesn't have to be a wet room. We've got our blinds down at the moment, but there's loads of natural light. Bit of natural light up there as well. Just behind the sun pad, there's a run of glazing. And then you also have, as well as your outdoor kitchen upstairs, you've got a little food prep area here. So again, we've got a sink, we've got a single burner. We've got another little fridge area down there. Bit of storage. And we can see all our breakers. Control panels here, nice and easy. And then we have this sort of mid cabin, occasional cabin. It's actually, okay, it's got boat show stuff in there at the moment, but it's actually a decent sized double. Decent amount of headroom as well over the bed, so you don't feel claustrophobic. And then we've got some storage there as well. And you can access that. It's literally just a tiny little low step, and then there's this curtain for privacy. But again, if it's you and kids, maybe you can pull that curtain back, and it's very social, and you can see one another. And then a decent run of seating down here. Again, with another dining area, TV. See our Fusion stereo speaker there. And then we've got lots of natural daylight in here. One of the things just to point out, I've got pocket doors here, so that's really good, because it means that when that door is open, it's not swinging back and taking up any space. We see that on some of the bigger super yachts, I'm always surprised that they don't do it on the smaller boats, but obviously it takes a little bit of width here, so you do lose a little bit of space. But I think on a boat like this, it works really, really well. And obviously when that door's not open, it's not swinging. So what do you think? If you've seen the name Boston Whaler, and like me, you've tended to associate it with sort of smaller open boats that will go out in any weather and act really as a sort of floating fishing pad, then seeing this big one may well be something of a surprise. But I think she's rather lovely. So there you go. Thank you very much for joining us. Sorry I was a bit clumsy this morning. It's the first boat of the day, so maybe my technique will improve. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like, share, and leave some comments. Tell us what you think of the Boston Whaler. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.